This is Heather from Bootleg Legal. I'm here today to pose to you a very unique idea. An idea that's going to make some of you think I'm crazy and that I've lost it. What if this shutdown order, this forced quarantine, this forced social distancing is actually the best time to build a new business? I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. If you're one of the millions of employees currently furloughed or laid off, and or maybe you're a business owner who just has seen a dramatic drop in the amount of work that you have, you're going to do something with this downtime. And I do encourage you to take a lot of time and rest and rejuvenate and prioritize your health. However, there's still going to be time left on the other side of that. What better time to lay the groundwork for that business that you've always been dreaming of launching and or that side gig that you've always wanted to launch? There are actually so many resources now that can make it almost free or close to free to start a new business with minimal risk. So I'm going to give you an outline of like the first things that you would need to do. So if you're trying to turn your side gig into a business or just start a new business because, hey, this is a completely new world and you see opportunity, you see something that the world needs or is hungry for, and you think you know how to provide it. The first step that I would do is to start brainstorming names. Once you have names that you like, do very thorough Google searches and URL searches to make sure that they are not in use. Go to the U.S. Trademark and Patent Office, which you can just find online, and do a search to make sure nobody's using that name. And then I would either file for a trademark, which isn't free. It's going to be $250 per application, or at least file a name reservation with your state, or skip the name reservation and merely file your LLC paperwork. If you want to know why you should be an LLC instead of a corporation, I have a whole video on that, but essentially it boils down to this. Corporations have required annual compliance. They have to do their annual meeting with minutes. They have to do board and shareholder resolutions for myriad things and myriad actions that they take. This can be costly, and if they don't do it, then they could end up weakening their corporate shield. You can build your LLC to where you don't have any of those obligations. So it's just an easier company to run than a corporation. That's the short of it. If you're not convinced, go watch my other video, and then hopefully you will be convinced. Okay, so it's very simple. I think it's $75 in California to file your LLC paperwork. It's one page that you have to file to basically form your company. You should have an operating agreement, though it's not required that you have a written operating agreement in California. It's just recommended. Again, it will help protect your corporate shield. But in the meantime, feel free to just download a generic, if you're a single member, if you're one owner, you're going to own the business all by yourself, feel free to just download anything from the internet that has that's an operating agreement, short and sweet, and just sign that and keep it. You don't have to file it anywhere. If you have multiple owners that are going to be owning and running the business, you're definitely going to want the help of an attorney in preparing that document, because it might be the most important document you ever sign, particularly if your business becomes very successful. You're going to want to make sure that your agreement with your partners accurately reflects your expectations for responsibility, who's going to get what share of the profits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so those are pretty easy steps. They can be done in an hour or less, and you're off and running. From there, depending on what your business is, the only things that you might need to do is you might need to get a local license, because whatever city you live in likely requires a business license, but they're all very different about it. They're all different about what the amount that they charge, when they're due, and whether or not they check up on the new businesses who might not have filed for them. I can imagine that some localities are not even processing them right now, given this, stay-at-home order. And so you might be able to get yourself off the ground without really paying for that quite yet. There are some places where you can operate for years and they're never going to catch you. And you can, not that I recommend doing this, I recommend complying with the law, but I've known plenty of businesses who haven't paid their local business license and lived to tell about it. And that might be it legally. That might be it. You might be off and running. Of course, it's 2020, so you're going to need a website, but there are so many web platforms now with templates that can make an actually really professional looking website for very cheap. If you are operating under the name of your LLC, you're not going to need to get a DBA, which is a doing business as. If you pick an LLC name that is not the brand name you're going to be operating under, you're also going to want to file a DBA, which is also really easy. And at least here in Shasta County, I think because the clerks are probably either working from home or maybe they don't have a lot of work coming in. I just got one processed in record time. I think it was sent back to me same day. So you can do that really quickly. And then that's it. Get your URL, get one that is as close to your business name as possible. If your business name is taken, then that means the trademark is also taken, right? So you don't want to use that anyway. You're going to want to use a business name that has an available URL. Granted, if the business name is taken, but it's for a trademark if the name is being used in what we call another class of business, like you're offering food delivery services and that name is being used in connection with the sale of socks, there's not going to be a conflict there. So you can feel free to move forward with it. But if there's any likelihood of confusion, that's the magic language. If there's any likelihood of confusion between your two businesses, you're not going to want to use the name. That's the layman term for it. If you really want to be certain that the name you're operating under is not going to be violating anyone's trademark, hire a lawyer to do a trademark search for you. But this video is about how to do it cheap and fast. And so I'm giving you all of the shortcuts. You can be off and running with your business in half a day. As far as how do you market your business now? Well, guess what? During COVID, Facebook is offering grants. They're offering grants up to, now I forget the amount of money, but they're offering a substantial amount of grants for advertising credits for businesses affected by this. Apply for those grants. Get yourself some free advertising, okay? Even if that's not available to you, there may be lots of other lending available to you, particularly if it's a business that has the legs to survive during COVID or perhaps even thrive during COVID. If it's that type of business where, hey, this is a need people really have now more than they've ever needed before, you might find it easier to secure lending than you did before. But a lot of my clients, a significant amount of my clients, in fact, started their businesses, including this business, started their business with no lending or outside funding. They just self-funded because the amounts were a few $1,000s, right? I needed a computer, insurance, and to file for whatever your company's state filing fees are, which are generally minimal. Your taxes won't be minimal, but your filing fee is minimal. And then, as I just mentioned, you're going to want to look into insurance. Talk to a broker to see what insurance you do need, what insurance you don't need. Figure out something that's affordable for you, and boom, that's it. You're off. I'm not exaggerating when I say all of this work, from your website to your trademark or your filing of your LLC,